You can't put a number on love.
No, it's no. So it's our anniversary.
And I can't say that with a straight face. It's great.
Oh, you are too cool for school, buddy.
I'm too cool for school. Well, there's no school like the old school.
I just reached for my seatbelt as if we're gonna
Let's go.
drive off. It's like
It's time to leave.
Let's go. Speaking of let's go, 2017 was like that, dude.
Gone. It is gone.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it was fast. It felt fast.
So happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, happy New Year. I'm Scott Davenport.
Spencer Pablo.
And we are photographers in cars.
Sitting on a beautiful beach here in Southern California.
Yep. So I'm sorry for those of you that are in winter wonderlands. It's still sock season in San Diego, but it's going to be about 75 or 22 for your international viewers.
Explain what sock season is.
It's when we have to wear socks in San Diego. It's that cold.
Oh, I'm actually not wearing socks.
I put mine on after walking around on the beach this morning.
Oh, okay.
Because the sand was cold.
The sand was cold.
I brought a pair of new shoes and some socks to keep my toes warm. And I'm like making little like toe fists as I say that right now.
Oh man, no, my chubby little toes are like exposed in my flip flops because we're on a beach.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right over here. Oh, I'm my drink.
So yeah, put that over there. Let's see. So 2017. We thought we'd talk about like year review, year ahead kind of thing. Let's see. Maybe we should limit it.
So
3 things from that's the year 3.
Yeah. Three things from 2017
that were like, cool for you photographically speaking. Or if there's something like super major awesome that you just have to talk about.
Sure.
I guess that's fair.
Well, so 2017 was the first time I experienced a total eclipse. Dude, that total eclipse. You guys remember that thing? I mean, like eclipse apocalypse, I think is what. If you lived in the belt across the United States that the total eclipse would happen, I think you guys prepared for a disaster, which I don't think ever came. But the eclipse is something you read about. For me, I read about it. I researched it. As I was as prepared as one can be without having seen one. And so as soon as the eclipse happened, I went back to academic mode. I photographed it. It looked great. And then when the adrenaline of setting up for it subsided, I realized I'm looking at an eclipse. And I think I ugly cried for like 10 seconds. It was beautiful, man. It was one of those things. I was like, oh my God, I feel so small. And it all happened like boom, boom, boom in 2 minutes while I'm standing in Idaho. Yeah. And it was something that now that I've experienced it, I want to do it again. So if you guys have never seen a total eclipse, here in the United States, I think our next one is in a couple
2024.
years. Yeah. Half
that's
a decade.
Not a couple of years.
It's more than half a decade.
It was 7 years. I remember that. 5 years. 2024. No, 7. My math is wrong. 7 years. So that's interesting because I had zero interest in photographing. It just did not interest me at all. Experiencing it, though, just to kind of be there and, watch the light change on the land and so forth, that I would have been open to if I was able to travel totality areas.
Man, it was cool.
Wherever you were, you didn't get skunked by clouds or anything like that.
No, that's right. That's right.
The biggest problem, right?
I think a lot of my friends actually... They were skunked by clouds or rain or actual because there were a lot of wildfires that happened. I know like a lot of Canada was burning, a lot of Oregon was burning.
Was that at the same time?
Yeah, that was the same time.
Oh gosh,
a lot of Idaho was burning.
I'm thinking of the really big ones in Oregon, like the whole gorge and all that. I thought that was after the eclipse.
No, it was like at the same time, and so I remember a lot of that was happening. So we were blessed, man. Where we were at, it was beautiful. There weren't crowds, so that was mine. 2017 was the eclipse. I mean, there were a lot of other cool things that happened in 17, but dude, the eclipse was just it eclipsed everything else.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah, I did that.
Yes, you did. You been talking to Sharky?
Oh man,
you getting some bad jokes in?
I'm not as good with these bad jokes as you and Sharky James are, man.
Well, I got nothing on Sharky. He's top.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm better at it at home. I can drive my daughter nuts with them. It's great. I mean, I take
Oh.
pride in it. If I can get her to roll her eyes and scoff, I've had a good morning.
Yeah?
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. But let me think. So 2017. What was my top thing?
well, technically, you said top
Hard.
3.
Top 3.
And so top 3, I was like,
you got 2 more?
Well, no, for me, I mean, the eclipse was pretty epic. What else happened in 17? Oh, yeah, the birth of this really cool podcast.
Oh yeah, that's got to be up there. I mean, tens of people are watching.
Tens of people.
Tens of people are watching right now.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we appreciate that.
One of these days, we'll actually we'll read out the roster of the views.
Oh.
We're like, hey,
If you're that curious about it, you're already watching the show, and we
thank you.
for it.
Thank you, guys.
This is kind of cool. Yeah. I mean,
it's cool.
Yep.
It's nice to be able to document, the things that we talk about after a shoot or before a shoot. So yeah, 17. You're not off the hook here, man.
Ah, gosh. I mean,
You did a lot.
so I did a lot of stuff. And so I think, like, things that I was most like proud of and pleased with. I think number one was branching out of my workshops and doing one in Oregon. It went awesome.
Yeah.
I had a blast. I mean, Oregon's a beautiful state, and that part of it was good. But just, I guess that's more of a businessy thing. But I was really happy with how that all went together. It took a year to plan.
Yeah.
And so it's, it was the first time doing it. It's one of those where, you want everything to go smoothly.
Right.
And yeah, that was great. So that was a big.
The Death Valley one.
That hasn't happened yet.
So the Death Valley one,
Yeah.
though, for
That's
this
for
year,
2018.
for the 2018,
Yeah.
the interesting thing about that is I know you've been working hard on that one, and there's a lot of permits you got to deal with and all that stuff.
I mean, that's that workshop. I mean, that's more of a. I guess this is kind of like the looking ahead type of thing. Although the grunt work is done now. But yeah, there's a lot more to the planning when you're going to go into a national park. You have to get permits. You have to, clear everything ahead of time with rangers and find out, are there areas that you can or can't go? Are there certain areas that only let a certain number of groups in at any given time? Doing all that stuff up front. So, if you are going on a workshop, just make sure whoever you're going with has done all of that. I've heard the horror stories.
Oh, I can just imagine.
And I can't remember if I've talked about this horror story on our show or not. But it was, the story goes like something to the effect, this, I think the ratio is maybe one instructor to maybe 8 students. And so I think this was like 2 instructors and they had 16 people. Something like this. I mean, it's a pretty large group. They didn't do permit. Or maybe it was just one guy and he had 16 people because obviously he didn't do permits.
Yeah.
And the Rangers aren't dumb. They have internet. They know who's, advertising workshops and when and so forth. The Rangers went up to him. It was his first morning. He said, see your permit, please. He didn't have one. His workshop was shut down right then and there. Fined, I want to say $10,000. It was something stiff.
Oh, no.
And then he had 16 to 20 people just, sunken faced, sitting wherever they were in, probably Furnace Creek. And they couldn't go out. Be told, here's where to shoot, here's the things. I mean, and it's not.
Be prepared, people.
I mean, yes, the permit costs money. It's not outrageous. I mean, especially if you're running a workshop. I mean, you need to cover your costs. If in any business, you're going to cover your costs to do your workshop. It probably took me. I'm going to say the better part of. Time wise, like calendar wise, maybe 6 weeks of back and forth to get everything done.
Okay.
But I mean, effort wise, filling out papers and so forth, a week.
So you didn't have to babysit it too much?
Not too bad. No, I mean they were pretty cool about it, and but it's just having to go do it. Having to go do it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to that. That's about a month away. So
that's gonna be fun.
I finished the scout. I'm going to say this like in the future because I'm recording this before I've done it. But I've finished the scouting. I've already I've gone out. I've done my my last minute looking around and everything. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Everything looks good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So that's 18. So
that's 18.
So,
18's gonna be busy.
wow, man, 18 is looking to be.
What do you got on the
busy.
radar for?
Workshops. Workshops and trade shows and new gear. I don't know. I love gear. We don't talk about gear a lot in this show too. Well, I talk about gear a lot, but you have no idea how much I have to not talk about, because I could talk about gear forever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other shows that do that. So, just new gear, all the potentials. I have like a lot of ideas of things that I want to do, and travel. Going to, where am I going? Switzerland, Germany, France.
Now, is that a
New
work
York.
thing? Is that a family?
Oh no,
vacation
it's gonna
thing,
be.
Or is it
It's gonna be
a combo. What is it? Yeah.
So it's gonna be our 10-year anniversary. Technically, we're doing it on our 11th. I don't know. Oh no.
Oh no, Trish, she doesn't know.
Yeah. Luckily, my wife doesn't want. No, she watches the show. She watches the show, so I can't number right. I can't math right.
You can't put a number on love.
No, no. So it's our anniversary.
And I can't say that with a straight face.
No, so it is our 11th year anniversary,
Okay,
but
nice.
it was supposed to be our 10th year. But I think for 2017, things just got we just got packed.
Yeah,
2017
yeah.
was packed, so we finally were able to go ahead and take a river cruise. My wife and I, and so that's what I'm so
that'll be
excited
nice.
about.
Yeah.
I have to remember to not bring the camera out all the time. I might bring just one camera. Oh my God, I might bring one camera. Wait.
Yeah.
Are you sitting down?
Yes.
It might be just a point and shoot camera.
Well, your point and shoot is like the RX whatever, right?
RX10 Mark Awesome is
Mark
what it
Awesome.
is.
Yeah, so that's not quite a point. I mean, it's not like you don't just like put it in your pocket and forget about it. It's
No, it is a substantial, thing. But I mean, usually when I go on these trips, I'll have a backpack dedicated to like 2 bodies and a slew of lenses, maybe like 3 or 4 that I won't even use. But I may just bring this one body and the drone, and that might be it. So that's technically packing light for me.
Oh, well.
Like,
okay.
Packing light, like for all the vacations I've ever done in the past 15 years, I would just always bring tons and tons of gear. I'm trying to be packing light for this next one. We'll see. So ask me again in a few months when I'm packing for this
Well,
thing.
I was going to ask when you're going to go. Yeah.
March.
Oh, that'd be a nice time, actually. Yeah.
What am I looking forward to on this cruise? There's supposed to be windmills and tulips, I think. And
Did you go to the Netherlands then? Because that's where it's like two.
yeah, there's a bunch over there too, but it's scattered. I think it's what is the name of that river? The Danube. Danube, yeah. So we're gonna be on that, and I think there's like tulips scattered throughout.
Nice.
So it'll be good.
Well, that's kind of cool too, because you can pack and unpack once, and then they kind
Yes.
of just take you through. Because my wife and I have always shied away from like cruises and things because you end up on someone else's schedule. I mean, to get for a perspective, before we had kids, our version of travel was we land in city whatever on this day, and we have our first hotel that night taken care of, and we're leaving from some other city in 3 weeks. Just make sure you get there before the plane leaves. Nothing else was planned. Maybe we had a train pass.
Oh,
and so
it's a very open-ended.
It's really you travel. We had an idea. We want to go to this city. We go to that city. You get there. You take care of first order of business, get a roof over your head, and that kind of stuff. But then if you decided, I want to stay here an extra day because we're having a good time, you do. Or I think we're kind of done this. Let's move on to the next place. You do.
Wow.
Now we can't do that as much now with children in tow. But we still we'll just we're going to go here for 5 days and very loosely planned because our moods might change. Someone wants to sleep in, or we all got up early, or wow, what's that thing over there? That looks cool. We're going to go check it out. So
that's interesting.
So we've always shied away from the cruises or the tours or something that puts you on a regimen. Just because that's somewhat of our mentality. There's advantages to having somebody take you all these places and show you all the things. I mean, actually, kind of like workshops, right? You pay for someone's thought power and brain. It's like just get me someplace great, and then I'm going to enjoy myself. So I'll be curious to hear what you thought about it after you've taken the cruise to see. Did you feel restricted, or was it, was there enough?
So
free
this
time,
isn't the first cruise we've done.
Okay.
Our actual honeymoon was a cruise. So when everyone else, so we got married in 2007, and a lot of our other friends also got married in 2000, around that time, 2005, 6, 7, and 8, and I think maybe 3 other folks, their honeymoon was a cruise, but it was like to Fiji, it was to Hawaii. I think one of them was the Caribbean. Ours was I'm going to call it the senior cruise. We went over. Our protocol was
senior in high school or senior citizen.
Senior citizen.
Okay.
And so we went. It was we left New York. We went to Boston, Quebec City, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, and it was really nice because it was open, and there were times where we had shore excursions. As soon as we'd go, let's go check out Acadia National Park. When we got there, it was fun. But what was nice about this particular cruise is because it was the senior cruise. Whenever we wanted to go, like play basketball or go to the jacuzzi, or at the time, there's this video game that came out, the video game console called the Wii.
Yeah.
You could. It was brand new, and everyone was talking about it. We could play on it, and we were the first ones there. And as soon as like 6 o'clock hit, it was like the ship was ours. No one was out. Everyone was having dinner.
Oh, that's funny.
So it was nice. It was so chill, because a lot of times when you go on vacation, you need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. And so taking these cruises, there's enough of your time on a cruise, from what we've done. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it's going to be nice.
It'll be cool. Have you done a cruise before?
Never been on a cruise.
Okay.
Nope. Never been on a cruise. I've only ever been once on a guided tour.
Yeah.
And that was because it was required by law.
Yeah.
So then you do that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, now we tend to be very independent and plan our own trips to our own thing. And it's funny because you tend to remember the mistakes, and those become the fun memories when you're trying to get yourself out of an odd situation where at the time, sometimes there's a little bit of stress, but more often than not, it ends up being, the
memories
a pretty memorable adventure. Yeah.
It's sort of like your very own National Lampoons.
Yeah, without the the camera crews following us around and so forth.
But yeah,
it is kind of like that. Yeah,
a whole bunch of like adventures that you didn't account for make for the adventure.
Yeah, precisely.
Right.
It's like circling it back to like you were mentioning, like you're going to be doing some workshops, and I think about that too. And like many of the workshops that either myself or people that are on them, you go to the place where you're expecting one photo, and you're not getting it, and then you get something else, and you're like, my God, this is my favorite one of the entire week,
sure,
whatever it is, where it's just I was never expecting this, and I don't know if it's because you weren't expecting it that makes it extra special. I'm not sure. You also mentioned trade shows. Which ones are on your radar?
So for 2018, WPPI. Okay. I love WPPI. I go to a lot of these trade shows, like CES is something, Consumer Electronics Show, so it appeals to the nerd in me.
Sure.
WPPI is also in Las Vegas, but it's less crowded, it's more chill, and there's more parties. And I like that. So WPPI, that's wedding and portrait photographers. A whole bunch of us gather, and we learn from each other, tricks, how to use lighting, things like that. So WPPI is a trade show that I'll go to. And then Photo Plus in New York. I didn't go to the Photo Plus in 2017, which was when the A7R3 was announced.
Right.
So I remember sitting here in San Diego and then reading up on this and seeing the keynote on that particular camera, and I was like, why? So I don't know. Even if nothing comes out from Sony or any other, but I do know 2017 Sony owned Photo Plus, like all the other
I can only
booths
imagine.
were just we can't beat that.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah. So even if nothing comes out, I love meeting the people. A whole bunch of friends. We just congregate, and I don't drink beer, but like I'll say we'll have a few beers, and then I'll have fruit punch.
Go hang out after.
Yeah, we'll hang out. Yeah. And it's New York. We'll eat. you know, and New York is just like chock full of photo opportunities.
I know. I think it was a few episodes ago we were starting to talk about this, and I was saying, yep, that was on my radar.
Yeah,
and it's off my radar now.
Man, because there was going to be so many places I was going to take you to in New York. I'm like, dude, you got to go here. You got to go here.
Well, I grew up on the East Coast. I spent 5 years across the Hudson from Manhattan. I've been to a lot of places in New York.
Never mind then.
But I wanted to go to the show, but I got other plans now. Yep, so
2019,
maybe we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
because it's one of those. I would go because I'd want to interact with other photographers. I wouldn't necessarily be going there for. I'm not the gear guy. I'm not. I'm fine to get the press. I'm glad. People like you go out there and you tell me, "Oh, this is new, and this is new, and this is new." I was like, oh, "Okay, great."
Yeah.
And I'm good to go with that. But I'd also want to couple it with a visit to somewhere else. I think I mentioned to Katie. I was like, maybe I'll go there. A couple things together. Like, oh, I'm spitting. Things are flying everywhere.
Yeah. Good thing these don't record 4K in
oh man.
Yeah, because then you'd see like weird
pick like out your DNA and
gross
stuff. But the only thing I guess I would say if I'm disappointed about not going is to not meet some people that I've interacted with in the industry, and to do something beyond that, to go and just have a personal trip. So that might be a resolution. So let me ask you this: what I find is, because we're content creators, we're making content all the time, that whenever I go somewhere, I'm either overly laden with additional stuff because it's like, oh, I want to make sure I get some behind the scenes footage of this, or how am I going to turn this into content? And it was not too long ago I went out specifically because it's like, I just want to go for a shoot for me. I'm not going to record anything. I'm not going to do any of that. And the thing is, I ended up still doing it because it was a stellar evening. But just the fact I gave myself permission to not document this particular shoot, that it felt like there was a weight lifted off my shoulders and going, oh, this is why I got into photography in the first place. Do you ever feel like that? Like, there's this...
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, right? Because I can't remember a time where I'm not like doing 3 things at one time. Because, and I'll take it back to the eclipse, for instance, right? So the eclipse, I studied and studied and studied for how to take a picture of the eclipse. I had 2 tripods up. I had an equatorial mount, so it was tracking the sun as it was going. I had another camera with just a long lens ready for me to take off the solar filter, so I can. And I'm juggling this, and then on top of that, I have a drone in the sky. The drone in the sky was trying to record the moon shadow.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, I'm also recording for my vlog. So I'm like juggling all these things, but that's kind of my baseline. So that's what I've come to expect whenever I go out. I can't remember. Hold on. Now that needs to be a resolution for 2018. I need to just chill out.
Well, maybe it does. I mean, maybe it doesn't. If you enjoy doing all that stuff at the same time, then no problem. What I found for myself is there are times where it's like, I would just like to focus on making a photo and not do anything else. There's no way I would have. I could see having 2 tripods and 2 cameras going and so forth, but then throwing the drone up there and trying to get the behind the scenes footage for a vlog. I'm going to be missing what I'm there, especially for something like the eclipse where you got 2 minutes and it's done.
Yes.
And otherwise you're 7 years out again. It's not like, oh, I'll try sunset again tomorw.
Man, so
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it would be nice. I'm going to talk about this eclipse again because I remember there was a huge weight on my shoulder because I wrote an article for Alpha Universe on how to photograph the eclipse, not even photographing eclipse myself.
Done it.
But so I had that, and then I remember there was a website, Sony Alpha Rumors, that covered my article that I wrote for Sony on their website, and then some of the comments were like, oh, this guy here probably won't even do a good job. So I had the weight of those comments on there, and I was like, oh, I gotta really do a good job on this. So I had that, but I was okay. And then remember, I still had enough time to ugly cry about how beautiful the eclipse was. That's when everything stopped for me. So no, for a resolution, I'm glad you brought that up. I don't have very many of those where I just go and enjoy my shoot. I enjoy my shoots.
New Year's resolution: 8 megapixels.
Ha ha! Never.
Oh, listen to that laugh.
Never.
The first part of that was, hey, it's a good joke. The second part was like, you're full of it.
Yeah, dude. New Year's resolution, pinhole camera.
You don't want to go. You don't want to go retro. Pinhole camera, /4 billion.
Oh gosh, man. So yeah, the A9, Sony A9. I'm gonna bring it back to gear. So the Sony A9 came out in 2017. It was I remember playing with it. It was really fun. 20 frames per second. It's as if you're shooting a movie. You just hammer down on that shutter. And I got really excited, but the one thing that prevented me from buying it was only 24 megapixels.
But
when you get used to 42 megapixels, though, man.
I'm going to disagree with you there. I mean, I leave
myself wide open for disagreeing.
If you're doing landscapes or commercial billboard type work, yes, I need 40, 50 megapixels. I mean, even me as a landscape guy, I was happy with 36 on the A7R.
Mm-hmm.
I was even reasonably happy with the 20 I was getting on my older Nikon. Anything, I mean, but if short of doing like those gigantic types of prints and so forth, for the large majority of photographers that are out there, there's always exceptions. The large majority, 20's fine. You're putting this stuff online.
I agree. So back in the day, before I even shot Sony, before Sony even got in this space, there was this company called Konica Minolta. And that's actually how come I started shooting Sony, was because Sony came over, bought Konica Minolta, and I had all that stuff, right? So I remember that was a 6 megapixel camera I shot with back then, and I was content. And I remember shooting wall size posters, like huge murals, and they worked well off 6 megapixel. Now that I'm in 42, and this is a use case that I've actually done a few times, from one frame, I'm able to get 3 shots.
That is true. Yeah, you can make, I'll call them sub compositions.
Yeah.
Which incidentally is a really fun exercise. I'm not kidding about this. You want to improve your composition? Go get one of your photos. And find 3 other photos inside that photo.
Ooh, exercise. And submit them in the comments.
Exercise for the viewer.
Yeah. So
giving you homework.
So I've done that. I've done that with 42 megapixels. And one thing that I really like doing, and it's just for me, I love seeing my reflection on the eyes of people I photograph when for instance, I do studio shoots or family shoots or something like that. It's just a thing. And that's how I know I nailed focus.
It's all about me, you narcissist.
Yeah, yes. It's about me and 42 megapixels in someone's pupil. No, so, I don't know. That's just me. That's me. But I have been content with the images I get from it. The A7S II, even the first gen A7S, that was 12 megapixels. It was, and they've been fine. They're fine, but I'm spoiled.
I don't know. I feel like we're reaching a point where I'm going to be hard pressed to upgrade my camera until it's like something breaks.
Yeah.
And that's, I need to get a new camera.
And as well, you should be happy with what you have.
Well, as Sheryl Crow said that.
What?
It's not about, getting what you want. It's wanting what you got.
I am not familiar with this. You always bring
I think it's the Island in the Sun.
Music.
Well, you pay attention to lyrics.
Yeah.
Some of them are actually profound.
Sheryl Crow.
You can apply those to your life.
Was she the one that was married to Lance Armstrong?
I have no idea. I only know the song. I don't know the personal history of said art.
Okay.
Sorry. But anyway, maybe she was. For the sake of argument, let's say maybe.
I have that. I never really got into Sheryl Crow, but she has like one song. Is it some have some fun?
Wow. Oh, there's that one. But
is that her song?
I think the song I'm thinking of is "Soak Up the Sun." I think is the name of the song. In any event, I always thought that lyric was like, oh wow, that's actually a really good point. Yeah. And that's kind of I think where I am with gear. I don't know. It's short of being like, I want to go get this because I think that will be. I want this. I want this thing. I want this new shiny thing. But if I were to really say, do I need it? Is it going to make my photo better?
Right.
It is getting very hard to purchase a bad camera. It is just the technology has gotten so good that for the large majority of sort of specialty work.
I agree.
It's getting tougher to say, I need this.
So it's interesting that you say that because so I will have my A7R2 camera.
Yeah.
I will always own that generation of camera because of the things. First off, it's still a ridiculously good camera. When it came out in 2015, it was ahead of its time.
Well, that's the thing.
And it has capabilities that cameras today.
Well, that's the thing. That was like the camera's awesome. Something new came out. It doesn't suddenly make your camera less awesome.
No, right.
It's still awesome. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great camera. So I'm going to rewind a few months because like Black Friday happened and I remember buying a bunch of stuff and let me tell you, I got a drone, an A7R3, this thing called the Glowforge, was a 3D laser printer. I got a whole bunch of those things, but the one thing I found myself playing with the most is the drone because why? The drone gave me a perspective I'm not used to seeing.
Yes, exactly. So that is a perfect example of this will let me do something different that I haven't done before.
Right. And then what I found myself using the least is the one that most people were so excited about was the A7R3 because I got the A7R3 and it was in its, I remember I ripped it open and I smelled it. That's the thing I do, smell my electronics.
The sniff test.
I smelled it and it sat unused for like 2 days. And meanwhile, all my other buddies and colleagues were like, dude, I'm shooting everything with this. And it's a great camera. The A7R2 is also a great camera. But as soon as, the sunsets and the sunrises start looking good, that's when I started really using the A7R3. But the drone is giving me a perspective I'm not used to capturing myself.
You hit it perfectly.
Yeah.
You get something new in your kit that is going to let you do something you hadn't done before.
Correct.
Like I'll say I have it now. Because we're kind of like talking about the future, is the infrared camera.
Oh yeah,
I've not done infrared photography before, so I'm starting to.
I can't wait to see through those eyes.
Have a different look on things. And
right.
for me, I'm excited about. I don't have to be stuck with sunrise, sunset.
Right.
It's actually almost the opposite, and so it's the middle of the day. That's when I want to be out with the IR camera. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. That was like my new gear gift. It's more like repurposing something than anything else. Yeah.
And I like that because you recycled, you knew there was extra life in gear you already had. Let me use it to open eyes that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
See perspectives I've never seen before. Well, cool. Good on you. By the way, my phone just went off. That means my family's now awake because there's movement. And so like I've got these cameras. My daughter or my wife is probably like checking on the bunnies that we have. They're probably wondering, hey, let's go get breakfast. We started our day early.
Really early today.
Started our day early, so I'm a little hungry. How are you doing?
I am very hungry, actually. Yeah, I should join you for breakfast.
Let's do this. Man, also it's hot in this car.
It is getting out. It's getting smoky when the sun came out. Yep.
Okay.
So January in San Diego. 75 degrees.
Short sleeve shirts.
Yeah, short sleeve shirts.
And we're baking in this car. All right, guys.
Good show. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Hey, the camera's didn't power off.